Hello, this is Tim Booth from the band James. You're listening to Authentoi Novi.
89 é Rádio Rock, eu sou a Julia e eu tô aqui com o Tim da banda James. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Really good.
Tim, James is coming to Brazil with the tour that celebrates 40 years of history, which is such an impressive mark, right? What was the moment that you realized that James was such a big band?
Well, we've been going 44 years, and I don't want to miss out those four because they were really important. But we became a big thing after 7 years. We weren't in it to make money. We were in it to make great music. And so for 7 years, we just improvised and jammed and did gigs and released a couple of records. And then after about 6 or 7 years, we were kind of ready and we released Sit Down. And it was when the audiences started sitting down live without any we didn't ask them to sit down, and this was before the song was released. Audiences would come, we'd start singing the song Sit Down, and thousands of people would sit down on the floor, and we kind of knew that this was going to be unstoppable at that point. We'd burst into tears. I mean, it was a spontaneous reaction from the crowd that was so magical, and that really broke us in the UK, and then took us to America and took us around the world. All bands have one song that kicks the door down, and then the other songs can follow into the next room. And Sit Down was that for us here.
And you started in the 80s, in the middle of the alternative rock British boom, if I can say that. What changes have you observed in the musical industry?
We've seen everything, really. The first mixing desks weren't digital. They were they got that warm sound from the 70s rock bands. And then music became digital and SSL desks came in, and the sound I thought was a bit crap in the 80s because they were new. And then they got better in the 90s. Record companies had complete control at the beginning, and few bands got signed. And if they did, they weren't necessarily successful, and the record companies didn't give them much for all their hard work. I've seen many changes, too many to really mention. And then free music on the internet with people, getting it free, devalued music, made music become less precious to people, less of a soundtrack to their lives, more of a background noise. I've seen many different changes. I mean, there's some positive ones too. People can now make an album in their bedroom for nothing. They might not be able to get it out to be heard, but they can make an album, which is great. Whereas when we started, you had to hire a really expensive studio to make a record. So there's positives and negatives on both sides. I went to see the band Geese last night, who are magnificent and remind me very much of the bands around 1980, 81, in that they're bloody mindedly just making the music they love. And if it's successful, but they aren't looking for fame and success. But they'll get it because they're patient and they're great musicians and they're a brilliant band. And that was the spirit that we came through, that post-punk, all these bands making music for the hell of making good music rather than just to become famous or successful.
And nowadays, in this tour, in your new tour, you're bringing the project "Be Open to the One" by the Wonderful, right? And it has reinterpretations of classic songs from the band. What was it like to revisit all this material?
I didn't, and they aren't reinterpretations. They're the original. It's like an overall look at James' singles and deep album cuts. So we wrote two new songs for it, but apart from that, it's all the old material. And I didn't do it. I didn't want to do it. I don't like looking back. I look forward. So I left it to some of the other members of the band. They were very happy to do it, but I didn't listen to any of it.
About the set list, how was it to put it all this history together, because you're completing 40 44 years of career, but that's a lot. How was it to imagine all this concert, put all this history in just one concert? Actually, more than.
Hang on, are you talking about the orchestral album, or you're talking about the orchestral album? Sorry, I'm getting confused. The new album we have out now is a greatest hits album coming. The Be Open by the Wonderful is an orchestral reinterpretation. Okay, so yeah, the orchestral album was amazing to make. That was really stunning. We had a guy called Joe Dadell who rearranged them and orchestrated them. And we had a gospel choir and a 22-piece orchestra. And that was phenomenal. We were reimagining these songs in a really beautiful way. And it enabled us to play in a very silent, hushed way. Where James, when you see us play live, we're quite raucous, we're very uplifting, we're very joyful. But with the orchestra, we could do pin drop, quiet songs. We played at the Acropolis in Athens, and we filmed it. You can see that online, the filming of that, and it's so beautiful, magical. Sorry, I was misunderstanding because we have a record out here, which is the greatest hits record. I thought you were referring to that.
Yeah, yeah, that was about the orchestral album. That's right. But now talking about the your current tour, your own tour celebrating 40 years of band, but actually you're 44, as you said. And I think it might be hard to put it all together in just one tour. Like, that's a lot of history. That there's a lot of albums. How did you do to put all this together in one set list?
Well, that really, we cheated. We did it chronologically. So we start with the early songs in the 80s and we worked our way up. Otherwise, if you try and do a set list out of that, it would take you forever. I think, yeah, it would take you forever. But it's deep cuts and it's greatest hits. That's what we've got out right now.
And you're coming to Brazil again. And the first time you came was in 2012. Do you have any special memories? Do you remember the concert?
I do, but I more remember the last time because it was only last year. And I stayed in Rio for 5 days and was taken around by a friend of mine who kind of works in prisons and taking theatre into prisons and works in the favelas. And so I had a great guide to Rio to show me the place, and I had an amazing time meeting different people and all kinds of people in Brazil. It's very exciting.
Yeah, actually, I was there in the concert in last year. It was amazing.
Oh, good. Glad you enjoyed it.
And now that you're coming back to Curitiba in São Paulo. What can the Brazilian fans expect from this concert?
Uplift, joy. Um, we have an edge to us, but since we're a 9-piece band with trumpet and violins and cellos and guitars and 2 drummers. So it's like the circus has come to town, and we will hopefully take people on a musical journey. We improvise, we change the set every night, and we're very playful and have a fantastic experience communicating with people and interacting with people. We love what we do. We're after 44 years, we're at the best period of our lives. We had a #1 album in the UK last year, knocking Beyonce off the top, and we're very joyful right now.
Now talking about your new project, the greatest hits. Did you have any challenge in the process of producing?
Yeah, I don't like looking backwards. I like looking forwards. So I didn't get involved with it too much. I left it to other people. Um, but no other challenges. We had to have two songs on the record that were strong to be singles. We had to make two new songs. That was probably the challenge. And we made two new songs that we're very proud of, which was good because you don't want to let ourselves down by putting two new songs on that people don't like.
And if you could do a collaboration in this new project, what would it be?
If we had a choice to work with someone else,
Yes.
I would work with Cameron Winter from Geese. I'd like to work with. I love his solo album. I think it's amazing. Heavy metal, it's called, but it's obviously not heavy metal. That's an ironic title. So I would work with someone like Cameron Winter.
And can you give us any spoilers of these new songs you're releasing?
Of new what? Sorry.
New song, the new songs you said you're releasing.
Yeah, we have a song called "Wake Up, Superman," which is about how if Superman was in America now, he'd be arrested by ICE and beaten up and detained, and how that it's the women who can save us now because the men have messed up. The political systems are so badly manipulated in nearly every country by men. And so there's a line in the song, only heroes, women heroes can save us now. And it's about immigration and racism. And it's a pop song at the same time. So that one's called Wake Up Superman.
I can't wait to hear. Tim, to finish, can you send a message to your Brazilian fans who are waiting for this concert?
So, yeah, to the people of Brazil, come and see the most unusual English band who are in their bodies, who want to dance, who want to play, who will leave you feeling high after the gig and joyful and singing. And come and play with us, come and dance with us, come and move with us.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, love.
Bye bye.
89. A Rádio Rock.